My name is Walter Schofield, and this was the moment I realized I lost my child in a way I couldn't imagine. For most of my life, I thought being a good father meant building a successful son, not a happy son, not a peaceful son, a successful one. I grew up with very little. My father worked until his back gave out. My mother stretched every pound like it was elastic. We didn't talk about dreams in my house. We talked about survival. So when my son was born, I made a quiet promise to myself. He will never struggle the way I did. What I didn't realize is that somewhere along the way, protection turned into pressure. When he was 5, I signed him up for football. When he was 6, I corrected his spelling during bedtime stories. When he was 7, I started saying things like, "Good, but you can do better." I thought I was encouraging him. Every time he came home with a 92, I asked about the 8 he missed. When he scored 1 goal, I asked why it wasn't 2. When teachers said he was doing well, I asked what he needed to improve. I told myself I was sharpening him, preparing him, making him strong, but I never asked him if he was tired. There was a moment, I see it clearly now. He was about 11. He brought home a drawing, not a certificate, not a medal, a drawing. It was messy, loud colors, crooked lines. He looked proud, and I remember saying, without even thinking, "That's nice. But don't forget you got math's revision tonight." I watched his shoulders drop. I didn't notice it then, but that was the first time he stopped showing me things that weren't achievements. By the time he was 14, he barely spoke at dinner. I thought it was teenage moodiness. I tightened the schedule. Extra tutoring, extra drills, more structure, because in my mind, discipline solved everything. If he seemed distant, it meant he needed more focus. If he seemed frustrated, it meant he wasn't working hard enough. I didn't understand that he wasn't failing. He was suffocating. The real shift came when he was 17. He didn't get into the university I had planned for him since he was 10. I had already pictured it, told family members, talked about it like it was inevitable. When the rejection email came, he just stared at the screen. I was angry, not at the school, at him. I said things I can still hear clearly. "You didn't want it enough. You wasted potential. After everything I've done for you. After everything I've done for you," I meant sacrificed. He heard controlled. He moved out at 19. Not dramatically, no shouting, no slammed doors, just quiet distance, shorter conversations, longer gaps between visits. When he stopped answering my calls, I told myself he was busy. When he skipped Christmas, I told people he had work. When months passed without hearing his voice, I told myself this was normal. But deep down, I knew he wasn't busy. He was breathing. The moment I realized what I'd done wasn't dramatic. There was no confrontation, no big speech. It was a Tuesday evening. I was cleaning out the loft and found a small box of his old school things. Inside, it was that drawing, the messy one, folded carefully, kept. I stared at it for a long time, and for the first time, I didn't see wasted time. I saw a child who wanted to be seen, not measured, not improved, seen. And I couldn't remember the last time I looked at him without evaluating him. That's when it hit me. I didn't lose him when he moved out. I lost him the moment he felt like he had to earn my approval. I thought control was love. I thought high standards meant high care. I told myself I was protecting him from mediocrity. But what I was really protecting was my fear. My fear of him struggling, my fear of him failing, my fear of looking like I hadn't done enough as a father, so I built him into a project and forgot he was a person. The hardest part? He actually did become successful. Good job, stable life, independent, everything I said I wanted. But when he achieved those things, he didn't call me first. He called his friends, because success wasn't something he associated with warmth. It was something he associated with pressure. That's a heavy thing for a father to realize. You can give someone every opportunity and still take away their sense of safety with you. I reached out eventually, not to advise, not to correct, just to apologize. It was the first time I said, "I'm proud of you, not for what you've done, just for who you are." There was a long silence on the phone. Then he said something I'll never forget. "I've been waiting to hear that my whole life." That sentence will stay with me forever, because it told me something painful. He wasn't rebelling. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't ungrateful. He was tired of auditioning for my love. The moment I realized I lost my son trying to perfect him was the moment I understood that love without freedom isn't love. It's control. And control feels like protection to the person holding it, but it feels like pressure to the person underneath it.
If I could go back, I wouldn't lower my standards. I would just separate them from my affection. Achievement should be celebrated, but it should never be the price of connection. If you're a parent watching this, ask yourself something difficult. Do your children feel managed or known? Do they feel evaluated or accepted? Because one builds performance, the other builds trust. And trust is the only thing that keeps them close when they no longer need you. My name is Walter Schofield, and the moment I realized I lost my son was the moment I stopped trying to perfect him and started trying to understand him. I'm still learning, but at least now, when he shows me something messy, imperfect, unfinished, I don't correct it. I just look at it, and I say, "That's beautiful."